Imagine if dinosaurs had not gone extinct and were still among us. How terrifying and dangerous it would be to live. What if the Earth were populated by creatures far more dangerous, larger, and fiercer than dinosaurs, such as gigantic snakes, deep-sea monsters, and terrifying creatures straight out of your nightmares? Let us introduce you to several such creatures that were even scarier than dinosaurs. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to not miss the next videos, and let's get started. How can you transform an ordinary elephant into a frightening creature? Replace its trunk with a huge, fleshy shovel with terrifying teeth. Like so. This fantastic creature might seem like the invention of a 7-year-old child. However, if you travel back 20 million years, you would see with your own eyes that such animals indeed existed. These amazing creatures, known as Platybelodons, remind us of a hybrid between an elephant and an excavator. And yes, they were indeed ancestors of the modern elephant. But instead of a trunk, they had a peculiar protruding jaw that actually consisted of a second pair of enlarged tusks, which were simply modified incisors. While a trunk is additionally hypothesized, proving its existence is impossible as no soft tissue remains have been preserved. What was the purpose of this strange shovel instrument? After all, animals do not develop features that are useless for their survival and reproduction. When Platybelodon was first described in the 1920s, it was believed that their lower incisors were used for digging up small vegetation in aquatic or marshy soil. However, in 1992, paleontologist David Lambert suggested that they were also used as a scythe-like weapon, capable of cutting taller and denser vegetation. Based on wear patterns on Platybelodon teeth, it's possible they used their lower tusks to strip bark from trees, while their upper tusks and presumed trunk helped them gather branches and leaves from trees. It should be noted that these were quite large animals. Platybelodons reached lengths of up to 6 meters and stood up to 2.5 meters tall. These animals lived in herds and weighed up to 4.5 tons. Platybelodon is one of the most unusual representatives of the ancient world. We are very fortunate to have found Platybelodon remains, as they did us a great favor by dying in water or near the surface, the most favorable places for the easy and more accurate transformation of deceased organisms into fossils. Although these animals were herbivores and could not have harmed humans, meeting a Platybelodon in reality would be quite daunting due to their terrifying appearance. During their reign, dinosaurs were the most powerful creatures on the planet. But today we will tell you about an unusual creature that instilled terror even in the largest prehistoric reptiles. Meet Dinosuchus, a giant crocodile that looks very similar to our modern alligator but is much larger. If Dinosuchus had encountered the largest modern saltwater crocodile, which can reach 7 meters in length and weigh about 2 tons, it probably would have mistaken it for its offspring, or more likely, just eaten it. Imagine these giants roaming the land, leaving their massive mark in the history of life on our planet. These majestic creatures, also known as terrible lizards, thrived in the late Cretaceous period, approximately 70 million years ago. They were of colossal size, with bodies up to 13 meters long and weighing over 8 tons. The main thing that made Dinosuchus true kings among other predators was their incredible strength and power. They possessed massive bodies covered in bony plates and sharp spikes, making them nearly invincible in battles with rivals. Their huge jaws filled with numerous sharp teeth could easily tear prey apart. In comparison, the bite force of a Dinosuchus was 10 times greater than that of the largest tyrannosaurs. Research has shown that these giant crocodiles could live up to 50 years, and their growth did not stop once they reached a certain size, but continued to increase. Dinosuchus were incredibly fierce. Nothing could stop their swift rise to the top of the food chain, but it was not only their appearance that made them unique. Their behavior and lifestyle also attracted attention. These great predators lived in various locations, from desert plains to fertile forests, conquering each environment. Over millions of years, these giants evolved and adapted to changing environmental conditions, maintaining their supremacy. Dinosuchus hunted both alone and in groups, coordinating with each other in search of food and protection. Their diet varied depending on geographic location. They preyed on turtles, sharks, and the giant individuals specialized in hunting large dinosaurs. Approaching unnoticed in shallow water, they would clamp onto their prey with their jaws and drag it into the depths. The crocodile then tore the carcass apart by sharply twisting its body. However, their greatness did not protect them from change and the inevitable catastrophic end. And like all the ancient giants of that time, Dinosuchus faced extinction. It's hard to imagine something more terrifying than a dinosaur, but this fearsome beast proves otherwise. Introducing the prehistoric creature Andrewsarchus, which lived in what would become Mongolia and China during the Middle to Late Eocene epoch about 36 million years ago. Although a complete skeleton was never found, part of the skull of one of these creatures was discovered in Mongolia in 1923. The leader of the expedition, Roy Chapman Andrews, deduced that the animal must have been a predator due to its massive teeth, and fittingly named the find after himself. To this day, this fossil remains the only specimen found of this unusual species. Paleontologists have pieced together an idea of the animal's body using information about its skull in relation to another similar prehistoric species called Mesonyx. The result is something unimaginable: a beast with a body length of 4.5 meters, standing up to 2 meters at the shoulder and weighing a ton. Additionally, this animal had hooves on short legs. It's like a mix of a wolf, pig, and hippopotamus, something you'd only see in nightmares. Based on the structure of the teeth and the width of the zygomatic arches, this creature had a very powerful bite, capable not only of tearing chunks of meat, but also of crushing bones, like a giant meat grinder. Sharp incisors allowed it to rip flesh from living or dead bodies. Since Andrewsarchus is known only from its skull and a few other bones, whether it was an active predator or simply a huge scavenger is still under debate. Perhaps its short legs and body proportions didn't allow it to be a skilled hunter, but it could have used its size to take prey from other predators. This makes it the largest known carnivore to have ever lived on land. However, it is known that these hoofed beasts are likely closest to hippos and whales, which belong to a larger order of mammals called Cetartiodactyla. Apparently, this monstrous hybrid was another experiment by Mother Nature, and in the modern world it certainly would not belong. One of the most terrifying creatures ever to inhabit the planet were residents of aquatic realms. Dunkleosteus was one such animal. This predator, resembling a cross between a shark and a stocky tuna, lived during the late Devonian period, approximately 360 million years ago, long before dinosaurs roamed the Earth. The Devonian period was marked by low oxygen levels and an excess of carbon dioxide. At the start of the period, the Earth's atmosphere contained no more than 15% oxygen, compared to 21% today. But this level reached nearly 18% by the end of the period, thanks to the increase in terrestrial plants. This era is often referred to as the Age of Fishes. At that time, Dunkleosteus, a marine predator, sat at the top of the food chain, possessing a bite force capable of splitting a shark in half, and a terrifying armored face that only a mother could love. Its jaw was twice the size of that of a great white shark. Surprisingly, despite its ferocious appearance, Dunkleosteus actually had no teeth, but this did not make it any less dangerous. Instead of teeth, it had 2 bony plates with sharp edges capable of breaking and crushing almost anything it encountered. And truly everything, because Dunkleosteus was not picky about its food. It ate fish, sharks, and even its own kind. Its terrifying tusk-like jaws continued to grow and became only sharper, honing themselves against its prey like blades. Dunkleosteus also had an interesting hunting method for smaller prey. Thanks to a special jaw structure and the mechanism by which it opened, this fish could open its mouth in 20 milliseconds, creating a water flow that simply sucked the prey inside. The mouth then quickly closed, and the whole process could take 50-60 milliseconds. A major drawback of Dunkleosteus was that it was so greedy in feeding that it often suffered from stomach upset. Fossil remains of this ancient beast are often found alongside half-digested remains of various fish. Undoubtedly, it is a relief that such a fish no longer exists, as exploring the ocean depths near such a predator would have been much more challenging. How do you feel about lizards? They're usually seen as quite cute, timid creatures that are far more afraid of us than we are of them. But let's go back to their ancestors. Megalania represents the largest terrestrial lizard known to science today. These lizards could reach lengths of up to 7 meters and weighed nearly 2 tons. It is known that the last of these individuals died out about 40,000 years ago, which suggests that the first humans in Australia may have encountered Megalania. Paleontologists believe that these lizards preyed on other animals and marsupials, and were not picky eaters. Hunting was effortless for them, thanks to their serrated teeth and strong limbs. The breadth of their shoulders provided excellent stability and even speed. There's also a possibility that their giant size and sharp teeth were not their strongest weapons. Hard to believe, but Megalania might have been venomous like the modern Komodo dragon, possessing incredibly powerful venom in their mandibular glands that acted as an anticoagulant. This would enhance bleeding in their prey, lower blood pressure, and induce shock. This hypothesis would make them the largest venomous vertebrates to have ever lived on our planet. Just imagine, a huge, fast-running lizard also capable of spraying deadly venom. No, perhaps a lizard is not such a cute creature after all. If you're a fan of Jurassic World, you may already be familiar with the Mosasaurus. However, it's important to note that Mosasaurus technically isn't a dinosaur. These great marine reptiles are actually more closely related to snakes and monitor lizards, but that doesn't make them any less frightening. This gigantic, warm-blooded predator swam the seas around the world approximately 66 million years ago. Mosasaurus remains have been discovered on every known continent, including Antarctica. Although no complete specimens have ever been found, paleontologists estimate that Mosasaurus likely reached lengths of 15 meters and weighed about 5.5 tons. That's larger than the average city bus and heavier than 2 adult rhinos. Take a closer look, and you'll see that the Mosasaurus from Jurassic World has 2 additional rows of terrifying teeth in its enormous mouth. You might think this is just a classic example of filmmakers distorting the truth for dramatic effect, but no. Its massive mouth is covered with 88 sharp conical teeth, and there is a secondary row on the upper palate consisting of wing-like teeth. These teeth are embedded in the soft tissue of the gums, making it much easier for the monster to capture and swallow prey underwater. The bite force was so great that it could easily break bones and even the tough shell of a turtle. No wonder Mosasaurus were extremely successful predators. The contents of their stomachs show that these aquatic monsters fed on ammonites, bony fish, sea turtles, and even flying reptiles and seabirds. Powerful and well-developed fins allowed them to leap great heights, and the mosasaur could easily catch a flying reptile that ventured close to the water. They became the dominant marine predators during the Cretaceous period. Until the event that ended, the dinosaurs also wiped them out. You've probably noticed that many animals in prehistoric times were just enlarged versions of those that exist today. Let me introduce you to perhaps the most striking example of this transformation. Phobuspidus pattersoni. These were the largest rodents to ever walk the earth. The largest species, Patterson's cursor, could reach lengths of up to 3 meters and stand 1.5 meters tall. Remains of these repulsive rodents were found in Argentina, Brazil, and Venezuela. Although their closest living relative is the cute guinea pig, they looked more like modern capybaras, but much larger and heavier. Skeleton analysis of these daunting rodents suggests that they likely weighed around 800 kilograms, comparable in size to modern rhinos and bison. All members of this species had very powerful hind legs, on which the creature could sit back and rest. The front legs were much smaller and probably only played a supportive role in movement. Their main function was foraging for food. The giant capybara skillfully managed its front limbs like arms, holding food. Phobuspidus had a massive lower jaw and sharp front teeth necessary for grinding rough food, likely playing a significant role in its diet of tough aquatic vegetation. Though herbivorous, these giant rodents had huge teeth, and their bite force was 3 times greater than that of a tiger. Phobuspidus pattersoni probably led a semi-aquatic lifestyle and lived along riverbanks until they mysteriously disappeared around 8 million years ago at the end of the Pliocene epoch. So the next time you cringe at the size of a rat on the street, just remember, they could have been much bigger. The depths of the ocean hide many mysteries, and one of the most captivating is the legend of the Kraken. This enormous monster has made its way into several Hollywood films, but did it really exist? For centuries, sailors and fishermen have told stories of the mysterious Kraken, capable of capsizing ships and swallowing their crews whole. However, should we believe these legends, or are they merely products of the imagination? In 1857, Danish naturalist Japetus Steinstrup made a remarkable discovery on a sandy shore. He found a squid beak so large that it resembled a piece of a ship more than a part of a living creature. This discovery excited the scientific community and sparked much debate. Steenstrup concluded that the Kraken was a real creature that dwelled in the ocean depths. He named it Architeuthis dux, or Lord of the Squids. Since then, several species of giant squids have been described, each found washed ashore. These findings confirmed the suspicions of the existence of an underwater monster. However, questions about the size and shape of these creatures remained open. Professor Mark McMenamin from Mount Holyoke College in Massachusetts decided to investigate this mystery. He turned to ancient Triassic period deposits and discovered fragments that he believed belonged to enormous squids. McMenamin presented his hypothesis at a scientific conference, sparking lively debates. He pointed to strange patterns on the fossilized remains and similarities to the suckers on squid tentacles. However, not all scientists were convinced of his theory. Some believed it was mere fantasy and lacked serious scientific evidence. But McMenamin persisted. He returned to his original discovery site in 2013 and found another fossil. He believed this fragment was part of a huge beak of a Triassic kraken. Despite all the efforts of scientists, the size and shape of the Triassic squid remain a mystery. Today, there is little evidence of the existence of a truly formidable squid. But McMenamin's theories and those of other scientists provide grounds to believe that giant squids really might have roamed the ocean depths in the distant past. After all, the ocean depths still hide many secrets, and who knows what else we might discover. The prehistoric planet was a terrifying place, and dinosaurs seem not so scary in comparison. Which of these monsters impressed you the most? Leave your answers in the comments. If you liked this video, please rate and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. See you soon.